What's up, guys? It's your boy Gage. You want to bring you guys an awesome, amazing video for you guys today. Today I'm bringing you guys an awesome high school stories for you guys today. In this video, we're going to be talking about the very first time I had sex. So please, same thing as last week, please, this is for mature audiences only. People that, I don't want to encourage sex for anyone younger. I really want to say this right now. I encourage and strongly encourage that everyone's very first time when you're a virgin is with someone you love, not for some guy that's trying to get laid and has already had sex before, or just he's trying to get laid, just trying to get some more girl, whatever the reason be, just make sure you really want to and make sure you really love that person, all right? And it's hard to even say this because it's really sensitive subject, even to me personally. I'm looking weird over here. Up, no, yep, up, no, down. Alright, there we go. That's looking a lot better. But being serious here, sex is an amazing thing. It really is. And, think of it this way, it's obviously pleasurable for anybody that's had sex. That's what it's for. But the biggest reason what it's for is so we can make our species, our kind, our humanity, and most of all, life go on is by having sex and creating children, and them children to grow up and then do the same process over and over again until the end of humanity. But I just want you guys to know this because I cannot stress it enough by how many people I've met being like, oh God, my first was terrible. I wish I had lost my virginity to someone else. She was ugly. He was ugly. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. So, but I want to talk about my first time because it's as embarrassing as a lot of other people. It's an embarrassing story, but I do not regret it because I learned a lot since then. And so I want to tell you guys. So, you guys, of course, I've talked to her about a lot lately, but the girl I was with for 2 years, she was amazing. Of course, I've always talked about that. I've always said that she was amazing, and I was with her for 2 years. I made a whole high school stories about her, but this is just an actual high school story about just one small story, so I thought I would tell you guys. So, but it's been about a month and a half, when we first, started dating, and we're with each other, and I remember my very, very first real date. I remember we went to a Justin Bieber concert, and you know what's crazy? You want to know what's super crazy about that, guys? Or not a concert, sorry. Justin Bieber movie, Never Say Never. Let me show you something. See those glasses right there? I've kept those glasses for 4 years now, guys. 4 years. How crazy is that? I got those glasses from my very first day, from the 3D Never Say Never Justin Bieber movie. Those glasses hanging up right there, guys. How crazy is that? It's just one memory. I threw out everything with her besides pictures and a ring. Besides those, that's the only thing. But that it's just crazy because not a lot of people even really ask me about that. But it's been on my wall that's been exactly in that spot for a couple years now. I never moved it or anything. But I've always had them since that date. But anyways, after that date, that's when we really started getting close, and that's when we started saying, that was the first time I told her I loved her and stuff like that. And it's a whole different story of how I fell in love with her. But the short story is I remember sitting in the thing, and I remember looking over, and she was just laughing at this part in the Justin Bieber movie, and I just smiled, and I was just like, God, I love this girl. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I do. And I made that face after when I was looking at her, I'm like, God, I love her. And I remember looking over, she's like, yo, because I'm making a face she's like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I love you. And she's like, what? Nothing. I hate you. Just kidding. No, but seriously. And so I was really in love with this girl. And, I think it was a bit young. I was a freshman in high school. And I should have, I want to say I should have waited longer, but I don't. The other reason I want to say I wish it was longer is to tell you guys, and I want my kids to wait, to be honest with you, but that's just being a hypocrite because I thought that time was perfect, and we were dating for a good 2.5 months, and, I think that, I don't know, I just think it was all perfect the way it was, but I don't want to encourage anyone to go out there and have sex or anything. I think if you guys date and really fall in love and at least give it a good 2 months, I would say is, if you want me to put a time on it, I would just say whenever you fall in love and whenever you're ready, do it. I know friends that I have now that are still 18-year-old virgins, and which is good because they really want their person to be who they're in love with, which is, I think, is amazing. That's a really hard thing. I mean, in high school nowadays, it's more likely, of course you get made fun of being 18-year-old virgin, of course, but if you look at it, how many 18-year-old virgins do we know, that are in high school? It's so rare. It's unbelievable. So I look at it not a negative thing. I look at it as a positive thing. Like, dang, I'm proud of you. That's crazy for you to get through all of this butt and ass walking around, and you're just like, nope, I'm going to stay virgin until I'm in love with that one cute, perfect ass. But being serious here, guys, don't look at girls like that, because if you do look at girls like that, obviously your first time is not going to be in love. But, just be in love your first time. So, anyways, I don't know how many times I have to say it, but now to the actual story of me doing this. I had to take 6 minutes, literally, of telling you guys how you should love the person instead of actually telling you the story. So, now, jumping into the story, first of all, I just want to say it was literally right here where I'm sitting down on this chair. It was right on this floor. Right here. 4 years ago. How crazy is that? Just looking down, it reminds me of just like the dresser was there too, and it was crazy. But anyway, so we came over to my house one day, and we were just watching a movie. My mom dropped her off because I didn't have a car or anything yet. She comes inside, and then my mom always tells me, leave the doors open, but I always shut them, and barely, there's a crack, there's this big of a crack, and that's because I have 2 doors, so I always go to that one and I close it to that crack, and then I come to this one and I close the crack again. So that way, if that first door opens, then that way, if anything was going on, we'd have time to hurry up and get fast and put on, or look normal by the time she opens this door right here. So that's kind of still sometimes the case. Just kidding, guys, but being serious. I did that, and we were on this bed, and we were watching a movie, and same stuff, and then we started kissing like we always do, and we made out. But at this time, I was so scared of girls. I wouldn't even I remember when we walked in, every time the very first couple of days we started dating, we actually went to school. I was so scared to hold her hand. I was walking, we were walking side by side, and I wanted to grab her hand so bad, but I was so scared and nervous just to do that. And I remember having my hand down, I was kind of twitching to do it, and then she seen I was twitching and just grabs my hand, and I'm like, instant red face. I was blushing so bad. Everyone around was like, oh, look, he's blushing. I'm like, shut up, guys, shut up. Anyway, so I was just so scared to do that. So I was always scared, and I remember the first time we kissed, I was scared to do that. She had to lean in a little bit to give me a sign that she wanted to kiss. So I was like, oh, she's leaning. Okay. No, not really, but I was just kissed her real quick, and then I remember kissing her. I was like, and I got so nervous I just flew out the door and ran down the stairs from school and just walked home really fast because I was so excited and happy, but I wanted to act cool. So I was just trying to get out of sight before I freaked out. I turned the corner. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And it wasn't the first time I kissed a girl, but I really liked this girl, so I was really nervous just to even do anything with her. I just didn't want to mess anything up. I wanted everything to be perfect. So anyways, we went through all this stuff, and then finally, we were in my bed and we just started kissing and stuff, and then I remember just kind of putting my hand on her face and stuff, and like I said, I still kind of twitched, but I just laid on her face and I started kissing her, and then this is crazy, but she started put her hand on top of my pants, and I'm like, oh god. Just on top of my pants, not even in, just on top of my pants and on that area, and I'm like, I was like, oh god, and I'm trying to kiss, but I'm freaking out in my head. I'm like, oh my god, we're finally gonna do this, we're gonna do this, oh my god, I'm scared, I'm freaking out. I know I have condoms, I have a bunch of condoms, I never even tried them on before, I don't even know I didn't even know exactly what they even did, and I knew they prevented babies, but I didn't know about what sperm and how the sperm worked, and there's also such thing as AIDS and diseases that they protect you from. I was freaking out, all the stuff was going through my head. I'm like, oh god. And then she starts unbuttoning my pants. I'm like, at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm trying to act calm, and my face is moving and twitching and stuff. And then she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And just twitching so bad. Finally, I knew my bed was squeaky, and I knew it. And by the way, guys, listen to this. Still squeaky. 4 years later, I need to get a new bed. But anyway, so I was like, this bed's squeaky, let's go to the floor. So we do is we come down here and we lay down a bunch of blankets on the floor and we load our pillows, and I'm like scared. And I remember, and I was standing over here, and like we laid down the pillows and everything, and I start taking off my shirt, and I look back, and she started taking off her shirt, and I like could not stop. It was like a live porno. Like, I watched so much porn. Of course I masturbate and all that kind of stuff. Don't tell anybody. But it was a normal boy, and I remember looking over, and I was like, I seen her take, like, she was in this part, like, right here, and I looked over, and my mouth just, and she's taking it off, and then I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, I stop, and then again, she turns around, she's like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you okay? And like, she's just in her bra, and she's starting to take off her like pants, but her hands around her pants. I'm like, I'm fine. And she's like, are you nervous? I'm like, can you tell? And she's like, okay, I can tell. And I'm like nervous and freaking out. I'm sweating. I'm freaking out. But and this is the best part. And so I finally, I'm nothing but socks and boxers. I don't know why guys always have their socks on, but it's just something they forget to take off. The girl's always like fully naked, but or she has high heels on, but that's normally pornos. But the girl's normally always fully naked, but guys will have their socks on. Everything off but socks. But anyways, I'm in my boxers and socks, and she's in her underwear and bra, and I'm like, like I'm so excited, happy, nervous, freaking out, scared, crying, sad, depressed, and everything in one little emotion to put inside of one freaked out, scared little boy. And that was totally me. I was just feeling everything at that moment. And so finally I was just super scared, and she's like, it's okay, and grabs my hand, and I just felt her soft, and then she pulls me on top of her, and I was just like, she's like, it's okay, and I'm like, oh, and I took a big breath. I'm like, I feel, and at that moment I was just like, after I took that big breath, I managed to be on top, and I like took a big breath. I'm like, I think I'm okay now. I think I got this. I think I'm gonna be all right. You know, I just took a big breath, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna be okay. Honestly and truthfully, I'll be all right. And so, and once that happened, I'm on top of her, and I just put my hand up behind her head, and I started making out with her. And this part, she puts her hand in my boxers and grabs my stuff, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, and I'm like I stopped kissing her. I'm like, because she starts, doing the thing. I don't want to be too descriptive in this video, but she starts doing her thing, and I'm like, stop making out. I'm just like stopping, and then she's like, you okay? And she asked me if I was okay like 15 times. I swear to gosh, it was crazy. And I'm like making, and she's just like slowly like doing her thing, and I'm like, stop, and she's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, sorry. And then so when she started making out, I started putting my hand, and I'm like freaking out too. I'm really scared at this point. I'm like, start doing what I do, and to a female, and so I slip in her underwear, and and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what it feels like. And I'm like, I swear to God, I was freaking out. I was like, what? This is what? And I'm like, this isn't what it looks like at all. Like, I'm so scared. I'm nervous. I'm overthinking everything. But I'm like, what do I do? But I remember watching so much porn. I know what the guys would do down there. So I was like, okay, just breathe. And I started doing it. And she's like, oh, and started moaning. I'm like, oh my God, I think she likes it. Because I didn't exactly know what moaning meant at that time. I was like, wait, does that mean if she likes it? Or if is it too painful? Does it mean to go slower or faster? Turns out nowadays, if she's moaning, you're doing a pretty good job, but unless she's faking it. But if she's moaning, that means a good thing. But, at that time, I was like, is it bad? Is it good? Is she hurting? Am I going too soft? Am I supposed to go hard? Blah, blah, blah. But now, I have to practice. Being serious, though, I just started doing that, and finally, it got to the point where I started taking off hers. She took off mine, and then she's like, you got a condom? Like, and I'm like, I'm about to, like, do the intersecting part, and I was like, oh yeah, duh. And then so I reach up in this drawer right here, and I pull it open, start rubbing around, and I grab one, and then by the time like I'm running around, but by the time I find it, my thing just That's if you guys understand that reference. It went like that, and I was like, and she's like, what's going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm fine. Stop asking me. And she's like, but you're soft. And I'm like, and I'm like starting to, come on. I'm like, come on. I'm freaking out. I'm nervous. I'm like, come on, it's like, I'm like, come on. We're about to have sex for the first time. Get it up. Damn it. Seriously, I'm like freaking out, and I'm like doing my thing that I do to myself in my alone time, and she's like, it takes like 3 or 4 minutes. She puts her back on the dresser, and she's like, do you think we should, she grabs her pants, she's like, do you think we should stop? I'm like, no, please, no, please, no. And so I was like, I wasn't like that, but I was like, no, wait, please, just 1 second. And then she's like, now this is the craziest part, the biggest, craziest memory I know about sex. Like, this was just instant insanity. That's like a song, isn't it? At this point, she pushes me over, because she goes like this. She goes, and then she pushes me over, starts kissing me on the mouth, then my neck, then my belly, and then, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. Like, I fall back, and I'm like, and ding, and she's like, you ready? She pulls me back on top of her, and I'm like, she's like, put on the condom fast. I'm like, I'm trying. I rip it off, and then guess what, guys? I ripped it off so hard, I actually ripped the condom. So here, I'm like, damn it. I reached in the thing, and this time I knew what condoms are. I grab it, and I grabbed a bunch, and a couple even dropped on her face. And she's like, and I'm like, oh, sorry. I move them off, and I put them to the side, and I just rip it off softly, and I put it on backwards, of course. Flip it around, put it on, and I'm like, okay, I think I got this. And then this is the moment, the final big moment of love. Of love. And then I kissed her neck, and then I slowly intersected, and in that moment I remember the first thing. This is the most messed up thing, and it's probably the biggest reason why people even have sex, but the first thing that comes in my mind, you know, I'm a freshman in high school, you know, I'm like the only one out of all of my friends that doesn't have had sex yet, and so first thing that comes in my mind, ready? I can't wait to call my friend and tell him about this. That's the first thing that came into my mind. The very first thing. I'm like, yes, I'm not a virgin anymore. Yes, I can tell someone. Yes. And I was like, that was the first thing. I'm like, yes. But I was like, oh, wow. Ooh. Oh, God, this is amazing. And so I finally just kept going. And then I kept kissing her. And she was like scratching me. And like not soft scratching, but it was just like and then started kissing her neck. She was like biting my neck. And she was like, she knows what she was doing. I was lost. She kind of like had to help me, you know, she had to like help me even put it in the first time, but like once I got it in, it was pretty good, and went, and then finally after whatever time, it's not like I remember the exact time, when I fall off to the side of her, and I just remember she's like, I love you, and I'm like, I love you too, and then me and her cuddled naked there for, I think it was a couple hours. Like, we literally just sat there and talked and cuddled naked. And the craziest thing about this whole story is, how many people do you know after sex sit there and talk for hours naked cuddling, you know? Like, it sounds stupid, especially because I was a freshman, just 14, 15-year-old. But I believe it was true love. Like, that's just, I feel like that was the real true love, you know? And honestly, I keep thinking of, like, all the girls I've, you know, been with, like, actually dated and stuff, and for long periods of time, and I remember telling a couple girls I loved them and stuff, but this girl I was with for 2 years, I know for a goddamn fact I was in love with her, but everyone else, I just feel like when I told them I loved them, it didn't feel right, and I just don't feel like it was actually true in love. And so, and it's weird because all those relationships were after this 2-year relationship, but I still had nothing that compared to that 2-year relationship. And so that's my story to you guys. And like I said, it was pretty embarrassing, not gonna lie, but I got it done, and it was, at that time, just, of course, when she left, I was like, ding ding, dude, guess what I just did? And he's like, what? And I'm like, I had sex, what's up? And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, So embarrassing. But one of the biggest lines, I should say, that I did use, when we got to when we, I didn't really want to say this, but now that, if you guys are still watching this 20-minute video, I guess you guys deserve this one last embarrassing thing about myself, is when we were sitting there, and before any of the clothes came off, or when we came to the ground, and before any of the clothes came off, and we were moving pillows, she was talking about, and she asked me, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, or no. Yeah, that's how it happened. She's like, but she's putting pillows on the ground before any of our clothes are off, and she's like, are you ready to do this? And she's like, are you ready to do this? I don't know if I am. And I'm like, yes, I'm. And I sit down with her, and she's just like, and I'm like, can I? And this is so embarrassing, guys. So embarrassing. I can't believe I actually decided to say you guys. And I was like, I sit next to her. I'm like, can I put it in once? And I legitimately asked my girlfriend that I was dating for 2 months if I could put my penis inside of her just once. Can I put it in once? What's wrong with me? And this was amazing. She goes, why just once? And I'm like, and that's when I fell over and we started kissing. And that's when, after we started, we were missing a blanket. So after after she said that, started kissing, we got up, grabbed one last blanket, and that's when we started taking off our clothes. And that's the rest of the story. But don't tell anyone that. That's a secret. That's so embarrassing. God, I can't believe I told you guys that. I regret that already. You guys are gonna just hit me up in the comments below. I know you are. Don't you ever say, I swear to God, if I look in those comments below and there's a quote, can I put it in once? I swear to gosh, I will love you forever because I love everyone. But gosh, I will be extremely mad at you for 10 seconds. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. That is my story of my first time having sex. Oh, good, great memory. Something I just wouldn't regret. Remember, guys, be in love with your first. That's all I ask. See you guys later. Peace out.